There are things you can't see, but they're controlling you every day. How many times have you felt like you're playing a game without knowing the rules? A cold glance from the woman you love, an outburst that seems to come from nowhere, a silence so intense it drives you crazy, and you ask yourself, what did I do wrong? It's not that you did something wrong. You just haven't realized one crucial truth. There are hidden vulnerabilities in women, deeply human, very real, but carefully disguised beneath emotion, appearance, and unconscious strategy. These vulnerabilities don't always show up in words. They hide in reactions, in glances, in seemingly normal behaviors that quietly steer your emotions and shape your responses, without you even realizing it. And if you're not aware, not grounded in your own presence, you will react. You'll rush to comfort her when she's angry, text her endlessly when she goes silent, even lose your sense of self, just to hold on to a relationship that's slipping out of your control. But Stoic philosophy doesn't teach you how to fix other people. It teaches something far deeper. Focus only on what lies within your control, yourself, your reactions, your character. You can't change women. You can't stop them from feeling, from testing, from being complex. But you can, and must, learn how to observe without being pulled in, love without losing yourself, and be patient without sacrificing your dignity. And to do that, you need to understand the hidden emotional weak points women carry. Not to judge, but to stay grounded, clear, and in command of yourself. Because men are not defeated by others. They defeat themselves when they don't fully understand what they're facing. In this video, we'll walk through 10 rarely discussed vulnerabilities, the silent engines behind emotional games, sudden anger, and quiet withdrawals that leave you in pain. But we won't just analyze them from the outside. We'll look through the lens of philosophy, reason, and the soul of a man who lives with depth. Because you didn't come here to learn how to please women. You came here to become the kind of man a woman cannot help but respect. Why men need to recognize the hidden vulnerabilities in women. In life, few things are more dangerous than stepping into a battle without knowing you're in one. And few things are more tragic than loving someone without truly understanding what inner battles she's fighting. Women are not always what you assume. Gentleness can be a mask, silence can be a warning, and emotional reactions that seem normal may actually be signs of insecurity, quiet control, or fear of getting hurt. A man who doesn't recognize this will respond emotionally. He'll get angry when challenged. He'll become weak when she pulls away. He may even lose himself, just to hold on to a love that isn't solid. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." That truth applies to relationships too. When you don't understand what's really going on, you judge, you get upset, you react. But if you realize, this isn't an insult, it's her way of expressing insecurity, everything shifts. You're no longer a man who reacts impulsively. You become a man who observes. You're the one who keeps the fire alive without letting it burn you down. So why must you understand these hidden vulnerabilities in women? To avoid being manipulated. When you don't understand, emotions lead you. When you do understand, you lead with strength. To respond with reason, not instinct. Silence doesn't always mean you've lost. Pleasing her doesn't always mean love. True responses require clarity and intelligence. To live the Stoic way. You don't change other people. You change your perception, your way of living, and your internal character to become unshakable, calm, and free. In the next section, you'll explore 10 subtle but deeply real vulnerabilities women often carry. This is not about judgment, it's about clarity, so you can stay grounded, aware, and love deeply without losing yourself. Are you ready to step into the emotional complexity of women with the eyes of a Stoic? Let's begin with the first vulnerability right now. Hidden weakness. Number 1, the fear of abandonment. This is one of the deepest, most hidden vulnerabilities many women carry, but rarely admit. Imagine being with a woman who appears strong, independent, and emotionally self-sufficient. But behind that tough exterior is a heart quietly trembling, afraid you could walk away at any moment. This fear is more common than you think. Many women grow up with experiences that plant the belief, I'm not enough for someone to stay. A distant father, a first love that disappeared without explanation, cutting words that slowly chipped away at their self-worth. So they develop a subtle defense mechanism, clinging. Not in obvious ways, but through small, calculated behaviors. Constantly checking your messages, getting upset when you don't reply fast enough, unreasonable jealousy, creating minor dramas just to test if you still care. All of it is their fear whispering, do you still need me? Will you leave like the others did? Am I enough to make you stay? A man who doesn't understand this will react emotionally. He'll get frustrated. He'll argue. He'll feel like he's being controlled. But a man who lives by the philosophy of Stoicism sees through it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. He understands that her negative behavior isn't because she's toxic, but because she's still hurting from a wound that hasn't healed. So instead of reacting, he observes, stays grounded, responds with calm strength. He sets clear, respectful boundaries. I value this relationship, but I also need space to stay clear and grounded. He doesn't shame her, but he also doesn't let himself get pulled into an emotional vortex. Not her. So, what's the lesson here? 1. Understand, so you don't get swept away. If you don't see her fear of abandonment, you'll think you're doing something wrong. But really, she's projecting her own insecurity. 2. Stay calm, so you can lead. When you remain steady, you become her anchor in an emotional storm. 3. Don't get manipulated, but don't stop loving either. Stoicism doesn't make you cold. It teaches you how to love without losing yourself. In the next section, we'll go even deeper into a very different but equally dangerous hidden weakness. The need for control. Hidden weakness number 2. Hidden weakness number 2, the obsession with control. Here's a common paradox. Many women long to be loved and protected, yet at the same time, they feel the need to control the relationship completely. Not because they're cold or unloving, but because deep down, there's a powerful fear. If I don't stay in control, things will spiral and I'll get hurt. The root of control is insecurity. It can stem from a childhood where she had to grow up too fast, from past betrayals, or from living in unstable environments. To compensate for that uncertainty, she may try to dictate when and how you should text. Check your social media. Suggest who you should or shouldn't hang out with. Ask where you are, who you're with, what you're doing, or even try to reshape you into the version she imagines you should be. At first glance, it might seem like care or a desire to improve things, but at its core, it's an attempt to gain control, to feel safe. Nari. But here's the problem. Control kills freedom. And without freedom, love can't breathe. No man wants to feel like a project to be fixed. No relationship can stay healthy if one partner always feels like they're being watched. So what does a Stoic man do? He doesn't rebel. He doesn't argue. He observes and understands that behind the controlling behavior is a woman simply trying to protect her own heart. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This reminds us, you don't need to control others. You only need to master yourself. And you share that energy calmly, firmly with the woman you love. Number, advice for you as a Stoic man. 1. Don't get pulled into the control game by overreacting. Reactivity is a loss of control. Instead, respond with clarity. 2. Set soft but solid boundaries. For example, I want us both to be ourselves. If control replaces trust, love can't breathe. 3. Prove that freedom and commitment can coexist. Be consistent. Be on time. Keep your word. That's how she'll feel safe without needing to control. The obsession with control is like a cold wind in a relationship. But if you stay grounded, you can be the wall that blocks the storm. So love can stay warm and healthy. In the next section, we'll uncover an even deeper hidden weakness. Hidden weakness number 3. The craving for validation through appearance and attention. A shadow that hides beneath the makeup of fake confidence. Get ready. We're going deeper. Hidden weakness number 3. The craving for validation through appearance and attention. Validation addiction. There's a kind of silence that's incredibly loud. It's when her eyes aren't looking at you, but searching for mano de proidum. In today's world, where likes, comments, and curated stories are the temporary currency of worth, many women get caught in the sweet, seductive trap of attention. It's not just about being loved. It's about being seen, compared, validated as someone who stands above the rest. From self-love to obsession. At first, taking care of one's appearance is natural. It's an expression of self-respect. But when every move is made to attract the gaze of others, every photo must show her best angle. Outfits are chosen less for comfort, more for impact. Her eyes scan each room, looking, often unconsciously, for compliments. Then beauty becomes a mask, not a reflection of confidence. And that mask is fragile. A mature man will sense the instability hiding behind even the most captivating exterior. The issue isn't her beauty or even her desire to be beautiful. It's in that she defines her worth through the eyes of others. And this emotional dependency is something a Stoic man must learn to recognize. Epictetus once said, "He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have." In other words, no amount of external praise can fill an inner void. 3. So how does a Stoic man approach this? He doesn't criticize. He doesn't chase her like someone hypnotized by beauty. He observes and reflects. Can she sit in a room without mirrors and still feel beautiful? When no one's watching, does she still have light in her eyes? A truly magnetic woman doesn't need to demand attention because she's already anchored in inner stillness. The Perkel. Advice for you. 1. Don't get blinded by surface-level shine. Beauty grabs attention, but depth makes you stay. 2. Watch how she acts when no one's noticing. A woman addicted to validation will often show unease when she's invisible. 3. If you're a man of value, reflect that value back to her. Help her see her inner worth, but don't try to rescue her. True beauty shines only when she walks out of the trap of needing admiration on her own. Attention can make us feel seen, but true presence doesn't come from being watched. It comes from knowing who you are when no one's looking. In the next part, we'll explore a more hidden, more nuanced weakness. Hidden weakness number 4. The conflict between independence and the desire to be led. A quiet tug of war between the image of strength and the longing to lean on someone. Ready to keep going? Let's continue. Hidden weakness. Number 4. The conflict between independence and the desire to be led. Here's something every mature, self-aware man should understand. Not every woman who appears independent is truly independent. And when a woman says, "I don't need anyone," it doesn't always mean she doesn't want someone by her side. This is one of the deepest and most dangerous hidden weaknesses. The internal conflict between the outer image of self-sufficiency and the inner longing to be led. When independence becomes armor, she might be successful, driven, strong, someone who knows what she wants, where she's going, and how to get there. But if you're patient enough to really observe, you'll often notice she struggles to fully trust others. She feels the need to control everything, out of fear of being hurt. And deep down, she's tired of carrying the strength the world expects from her. You see, independence isn't the problem. But when it's used as a shield to hide past wounds, it becomes a form of emotional prison. Tarkonani, the desire to be led, a hidden instinct inside every woman, even the strongest ones, lives. A deep desire to be truly understood. A longing for someone steady enough to lean on without feeling weak for doing so. A quiet craving for the safety that comes when she can finally let go of control. Because someone strong enough has taken the wheel. And yet here's the paradox. The stronger the desire to be led, the more she hides it, afraid it will be seen as weakness. That's when the internal war shows itself in strange ways. She tests you. She challenges you. She pushes your limits, just to find out. Are you strong enough to lead me? Will you collapse if I push you too far? Stubborn. How Stoic philosophy views this, Marcus Aurelius once wrote. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. A Stoic man doesn't react emotionally to someone else's inner conflict. He observes, stays rational, and stands firm like a rock in stormy waters. You don't need to argue with her need for control. You don't need to prove you're stronger. You simply need to be steady and refuse to get pulled into a power struggle. Practical advice for you. 1. Don't be fooled by the mask of independence. Sometimes that strength is just a cover for wounds left unhealed. 2. Recognize when she's testing your limits. If you react, you lose ground. If you understand, you lead. 3. Always lead with calm strength. Not through words, but through the quality of your presence. When a woman truly feels that steadiness in you, she slowly begins to let go of the armor and emerges in her femininity and trust. And that's when real connection begins. In the next part, we'll uncover another deeply conflicting weakness. Hidden weakness. 5. When emotions are used as a tool for manipulation. Get ready. This one goes deep and will challenge how you see emotional power. Hidden weakness. Number 5. When emotions become a tool for manipulation. There's a truth many people don't want to face. Some people don't express emotions to connect. They do it to control. And in romantic relationships, this creates a blurry line between genuine vulnerability and calculated emotional manipulation. Third key, when tears aren't innocent anymore. In society, women are often associated with being sensitive, fragile, easily hurt, but not every emotional display is genuine. Some have learned that if I cry, I'll get my way. If I get angry, I can make him feel guilty. If I go silent, I can throw him off balance. And just like that, emotion becomes a weapon. Not to share, but to control. Derision. Why does this happen? Most people aren't born manipulators, but through life experience, they learn that. Emotions can influence others' behavior. Playing the victim helps them avoid responsibility. Silence or coldness can force others to give in. Sadly, many men, unprepared for this dynamic, fall into the emotional trap without realizing it. How do you recognize it? Here are some common signs. You always end up feeling like you're wrong, even when you're not. She uses anger, silence, or tears as a way to punish you. In every conflict, you're the one who backs down first. Just to stop the emotional pressure. They don't yell. They make you feel guilty enough to harm yourself emotionally. This is emotional manipulation at its most subtle and dangerous. Now, what does Stoicism teach about this? A core Stoic principle is, don't react emotionally, respond rationally. Epictetus once said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You can't control how someone else expresses emotion, but you can absolutely control how you respond to it. Turning on what to do when you realize you're being emotionally manipulated. 1. Stay calm. Don't react impulsively. If your emotions take over, you've already lost ground. Watch behavior, not just words. If someone says, I am hurt, but uses that hurt to gain control, be cautious. 3. Don't automatically assume you're at fault. You might be wrong, but don't apologize just because you're under pressure. Set clear boundaries. A Stoic doesn't ignore emotions, but he doesn't let others' emotions dictate his life. Nari, be the rock in the river of emotion. A strong man is not emotionally detached. He still listens, but he doesn't surrender. He still cares, but he doesn't compromise on fairness. When you feel you're being emotionally manipulated, remember, true strength isn't about controlling others. It's about not letting others control you. In the next part, we'll explore a hidden weakness that often gets overlooked. Hidden weakness number 6, the fear of being replaced and the feeling of not being enough. This takes us into a deeply vulnerable space, but if you understand it, you'll stop seeing her emotional world as a maze. Hidden weakness number 6, the fear of being replaced and feeling not good enough. There's something most people never say out loud, Yet it lingers like a quiet shadow in the minds of many women. The fear, one day I won't be good enough to make him stay. Nourish, a silent but powerful fear. In today's world, where everything seems replaceable, an outdated phone is swapped for the newest version. A strained relationship is ended with a swipe left or right. Even women, who often appear to hold the power of choice, carry deep fears of being replaced, forgotten, or compared. Naman, where does not good enough begin? From a young age, many girls are taught, be pretty to be loved, be obedient to be accepted, be smart, but not too smart to intimidate a man. Society tells them, if you're not attractive enough, he'll look elsewhere. If you can't keep him, someone else will. Over time, this message plants a quiet, persistent doubt within their hearts. Navri. And what happens then? When a woman fears being replaced, she might become overly controlling, compare herself to your past, doubt your choice, even though you've already chosen her. Worse, she may even sabotage the relationship, just to test, do you love me, or are you only here because there's no one else right now? Kushri. How does Stoicism face this fear? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. To a Stoic, the fear of being replaced isn't something others create. It's something that rises from within. When you understand, you don't need to be someone else, but you can be yourself with dignity and steadiness. You don't need to make someone stay by losing yourself in the process. Then you offer true emotional safety, not through words, but through your grounded presence. So what should you, the Stoic man, do? 1. Don't make grand promises. Live truthfully. Don't say, I'll never leave you. Instead, show her daily that you choose to stay. 2. Don't only compliment her looks. See her real worth. A woman who feels seen beneath the surface won't feel pressured to be perfect on the outside. 3. When she compares herself, don't judge. Instead, ask gently, what are you feeling right now that's making you worry? 4. Be the shore, not the wave. While her emotions may rise and fall, let your presence be steady, grounded, and safe. But remember this, you're not responsible for healing every wound she carries. You only need to avoid deepening them with indifference or inconsistency. If you live with a Stoic spirit, calm, clear, and unshaken by emotional chaos, you'll create a space where she no longer needs fear to feel loved. In the next part, we'll explore a hidden weakness often disguised as strength. Hidden weakness number 7. When independence becomes a wall of loneliness. This is one of the deepest inner conflicts many modern women silently struggle with. Hidden weakness, number 7, when independence becomes a wall of loneliness. In an era where women are encouraged to be strong, independent, and need no one, a quiet but powerful paradox is emerging. The more independent some women become, the lonelier they feel inside. I'm fine, I don't need anyone. A statement full of strength, but also silent sorrow. Independence is a beautiful thing. It means she can take care of herself. It means she doesn't rely on others to survive. It means she has a career, a voice, and her own space. But sometimes that independence doesn't come from confidence. It comes from a wound left unhealed. 3. The wall that pain built many women have trusted and been betrayed, given their all, and been taken for granted, opened up and been met with silence. So they built a wall of steel. I'll never give anyone the chance to hurt me again. But in the quiet hours of the night, loneliness seeps through the cracks and a question whispers, if I'm really okay, why do I feel so empty? When strong becomes a mask, a woman who's overly independent might avoid leaning on anyone, even when she's exhausted. Keep tight control over her emotions to avoid looking vulnerable. Resist opening up because she fears repeating past pain. She doesn't need anyone because she once did, and it broke her. How does Stoicism view this? Stoicism doesn't promote emotional walls or isolation. On the contrary, it teaches us to be self-reliant but not disconnected. Be steady but not prideful. Know when to stand strong and when to open up. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What injures the hive injures the bee." We cannot be truly whole if we're constantly disconnected from others. Nachunun. As a Stoic man, what should you do? 1. Respect her independence, but be patient with her distance. Proximity doesn't equal trust. Be present without pushing. 2. Don't try to rescue her. Be someone she chooses to lean on. Real safety is created when she feels accepted, even in her imperfections. 3. Don't take her distance personally. Often she's not pushing you away out of dislike. She's testing if you'll stay long enough to earn her trust. Give without trying to control. She doesn't need you to fix her, just to stand steady as she slowly lets the mask fall on her own terms. Career. What to remember. Independence isn't the problem. The real problem is when independence becomes a cover for hidden loneliness. As a man living by Stoic values, you don't force love. You don't tear down someone's wall. You stand there calm and sincere, so when she's ready, she knows exactly where to come back to. In the next part, we'll uncover one of the most dangerous yet hard to spot weaknesses. Hidden weakness number 8. When control is a woman's way of coping with deep insecurity. Prepare for a surprising insight that may forever change how you interpret certain behaviors in relationships. Hidden weakness. Number 8. When control is a mask for deep insecurity. Have you ever known a woman who always needs to know where you are, what you're doing, who you're with, when you'll be back, why you didn't reply sooner? You might think, she's so controlling. But beneath the surface lies something much deeper. A level of insecurity so intense that uncertainty feels unbearable. Because ambiguity doesn't just make her uncomfortable, it makes her feel unsafe, even when you've done nothing wrong. Control doesn't always come from a need for power. We often assume controlling behavior comes from dominance. But more often than not, it doesn't come from one and on power. It comes from my fear. She may have been deceived in the past, been abandoned without explanation, or witnessed someone she loved get betrayed. Since then, control became a survival mechanism. Because in her mind, a voice keeps repeating, if I don't stay in control, I'll get hurt. For one, the hidden signs of control, constant check-ins, almost like a reflex, jealousy over even minor things, frequent need for reassurance, do you still love me? Discomfort when you need personal space, feeling threatened by your past relationships, even if you've been completely transparent. This often isn't rooted in suspicion. It's rooted in unresolved insecurity. Number 1. What does Stoicism teach us in these moments? Stoicism teaches us to be firm, yet compassionate. Not to tolerate dysfunction, but not to react with hostility either. Instead, it helps us see the root issue clearly, stay grounded, not emotionally reactive, and protect the peace for both hearts involved. As Epictetus said, we cannot control the actions of others, only our own mind. This holds true even when we're dealing with someone else's need for control. Runner, as a Stoic man, what should you do? 1. Notice the behavior without accusing. Don't say, you're being controlling. Say, I sense you might be worried about something. I want to understand. 2. Set clear boundaries without shutting her out. For example, I care deeply about this relationship and I'm always transparent, but I also need some personal space to stay grounded and clear-minded. 3. Create safety, not with words but with consistency. Be punctual. Keep your promises. Stay clear and honest. Stability helps calm the nervous system of someone who's anxious. Don't fight insecurity with anger. When she questions you or gets irrationally jealous, reacting with frustration only fuels her fear. Instead, pause, observe, and respond with calm clarity. Tuckford, what to remember? Control isn't strength. It's often a silent cry for help. It's not something to resent if you understand where it's coming from. As someone living by Stoic principles, your job isn't to change her, it's to change yourself, to become steadier, more trustworthy, and emotionally grounded. A Stoic man doesn't play the game of control. He stands firm, and from that stillness gives others a deeper sense of safety than any promise ever could. In the next part, we'll explore one of the most fragile yet dangerously common emotional traps in the female psyche. Hidden weakness, number 9. When a woman loses her sense of self in the pursuit of pleasing others. It's a truth that might make you rethink many of your relationships in a whole new light. Hidden weakness. Number 9, when a woman loses herself in the effort to please others. A woman can be beautiful, talented, and have it all, but if she loses herself trying to please others, she will gradually lose her dignity, her allure, and her respect. This is a hidden weakness because it disguises itself as kindness, care, and sacrifice. But beneath it lies a mere silent struggle between her true self and the self she tries to be to earn love. Common signs. Always agreeing with you, even when she disagrees inside. Ignoring her own needs to cater to yours. Fearful of upsetting you, avoiding conflict, afraid to be seen as difficult. Frequently putting herself down to make you look better. Unable to say no even when tired, busy, or unwilling. She slowly becomes a shadow of herself, convinced that this is what love looks like. Experiences of abandonment that taught her, I only belong if I please others. Social stereotypes that say women must be gentle, accommodating, and self-sacrificing to be ideal. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. No one can respect you if you do not respect yourself first. What Stoicism says about this? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. Instead of living to be loved or accepted, live by the values you believe in. A woman who loses her value to please others is really draining her own energy." Stoicism doesn't promote selfishness. It values self-mastery. True love happens only when you don't lose yourself in the relationship. So, what should a man notice? A woman who always follows you, never voices her own opinions, always yields, might at first feel easy or convenient. But beware, submission often comes from fear, not love. Over-accommodation comes from desperation to hold on to you, not understanding. Sacrifice without self-respect is a ticking time bomb. You should 1. Encourage her to speak her mind. What do you think? Your opinion matters too. 2. Respect her boundaries and personal needs. Don't demand servitude or exploit her kindness. 3. Send the message that being loved doesn't mean sacrificing herself. I'm here for the real you, not the version you think I want. Todriuri. The Stoic lesson. Stoicism teaches us to live true to our inner qualities, not distort our soul for others' approval. That is dignity. That is character. A woman who knows when to say no, who thus protects her self-worth, and who stands firm against the pressure to be sweet and compliant, commands respect from any Stoic man. And a Stoic man would never harm someone's soul just for his own convenience. In the next and final part, we'll explore hidden weakness. 10. The most dangerous of all. When a woman doesn't know who she truly is and tries to find her identity through a man. A silent emotional dependence playing out in countless relationships, yet rarely named or understood. Hidden weakness. Nus 10. When a woman doesn't know who she is and tries to find her identity through a man. If I leave you, I am nothing. This may sound romantic, but from a Stoic perspective, it's a linear red flag. It's not just love. It's self-dependence to the point of losing one's core identity by anchoring it to someone else. Sakrinuwan. Common signs. She defines her self-worth by whether he needs her or not. Her emotions swing based on how you treat her. Even a read receipt can shake her whole day. Without you, she feels lost and empty. Every effort in life, school, appearance, career, is to be worthy of him. She abandons other relationships, personal interests, and passions just to revolve around you. It sounds touching, but this isn't love. It's a trading away one's identity. Tudriyum. Where's the danger? When a person's self-worth is anchored to someone else, her inner life loses its foundation. She is no longer an independent individual. She becomes a shadow of the man, and when he leaves or simply fails to meet expectations, she collapses. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't hanker after what you don't control." When you put your identity in someone else's hands, you tie your entire life to something beyond your control. The deep root. This invisible wound comes from a childhood lacking a clear sense of personal identity. Who am I? A lack of love, leading her to seek places where she feels needed. Society teaching her a woman's worth comes from being loved by a man. The assumption that without a man by her side, she is incomplete, so she lives to be chosen instead of choosing herself. Nourish. What does Stoicism say? Stoicism doesn't teach loneliness. It teaches that you must stand firm on your own before leaning on anyone else. A Stoic woman knows who she is, independent of her relationship status, has her own values, principles, and path, loves with clarity, not by giving up her identity, doesn't let anyone, even the one she loves, define her worth. Epictetus wrote, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. If you don't know who you are, you will wear whatever others suggest, even if it's not meant for you." Durayur. What should a man do? 1. Don't encourage dependence, even if it feels comfortable. A woman completely dependent on you may make you feel loved at first, but sooner or later, you'll feel suffocated and drained. 2. Encourage her personal growth. What did you love before we met? I think you should go back to school or pursue that passion again. 3. Respect her individual journey. When you show her, I love you for who you really are, not because you revolve around me, you help her grow stronger from within. Nourish. Conclusion for this part. A woman doesn't need a man to exist. She needs a partner to grow alongside. If she doesn't know who she is, she will turn the relationship into a refuge, not a launch pad, and that is one of her biggest hidden weaknesses she might never recognize. But once she awakens, builds her own value, and walks forward without fearing solitude, she becomes a strong, profound woman and unforgettable. Next, we'll move into the final conclusion, summarizing all 10 hidden weaknesses and delivering a powerful Stoic message of enlightenment. Get ready to complete the journey with me. To reckon lessons we learn from the 10 hidden weaknesses of women. Knowledge is power, but only when you are still enough to hear the truth beneath the surface. Marcus Aurelius. Together we have explored 10 hidden weaknesses. Deep inside a woman's heart, seemingly small things that have the power to shake or even break a relationship. These are not faults. They are cracks caused by misunderstanding, unhealed wounds, and beliefs never questioned. And you, as a man following Stoic philosophy, are not here to judge, criticize, or dominate. You are here to see clearly, understand deeply, and stand firm. You are not here to fix anyone, but to lead by example. Not to change her, but to stay true to your own values. Seneca, what Stoicism teaches us. 1. Understand others, but don't depend on them. 2. See weaknesses, but don't despise one of them. 3. Hold your principles, even when emotions push hard. 4. Love with reason and protect your heart with courage. Stillness doesn't mean indifference. Strength doesn't mean distance. Understanding doesn't mean control. A wise man is indifferent to what he cannot control, but deeply responsible for what he can. Marcus Aurelius. You can't control her past, her weaknesses, or her fleeting emotions, but you can control how you respond. You can train yourself to be a man unmoved by chaos. Through a year, if you have read, listened, reflected on every part of this video, don't let it pass as just another inspiring talk. Let it become action. Act with clarity to reflect on your relationships. Act by resetting principles you once let go because of feelings. Act by learning to stand firm instead of constantly trying to please. Act with silence when needed, with strength when required, and with calm when chaos erupts. Because a Stoic man does not stir storms, but also does not get swept away by them. Start today, not with loud words, not with dramatic gestures, but with the right silence at the right time. Boundaries firmly set anew. An inner journey begun with honesty. A commitment. I will not lose myself just to be loved. You don't need to shout to be respected. You don't need to struggle to be remembered. You only need to live true to reason, to your values, and to the self-control within. Live not to impress, but to express the truth of who you are. Marcus Aurelius. And one day, when you truly live as a Stoic, you won't need to do much, but your presence, your silence, and your unshakable steadiness will command the world's respect. If you found this valuable, please share it And don't forget to subscribe, because every video here is not just a Stoic lesson. It's a compass to help you live boldly, wisely, and never lose yourself. See you in the next video. Stay stoic. Stay unshakable.